All right, let's talk about something really cool in the world of agriculture. It's an idea that's been changing lives for decades, and it's called the Farmer Field School.
But first, I want you to imagine something for me. Picture a school, but get rid of the desks, the blackboard, the walls. Your classroom, it's the field. Your textbook, it's the soil, the plants, the entire ecosystem right in front of you. That simple but kind of radical idea is what a farmer field school is all about. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with what a school without walls really is. Then we'll get into its name goal, which is all about farmer empowerment. We'll look at the core principles that make it tick, see how it works in all sorts of different places, and finally, why it's so much more than just a farming technique.
Okay, let's dive into part one. What is a farmer field school? Well, the name itself is actually the best clue we've got.
So officially, this whole thing started back in Indonesia in the 1980s. The original name basically just translates to field school, and the entire approach is built on two big ideas: adult education and something called experiential learning, which is really just a fancy way of saying learning by doing.
And that's why the name is so perfect. It's for farmers, the people who are actually out there working the land. The learning happens right in the field, their real-world lab. And it's set up like a school, a place where they can discover things, analyze problems, and learn together as a group. It really is a school without walls.
All right, so we get what it is, but the next big question is, why? What's the point of all this? And the answer goes way deeper than just teaching a few new farming tricks.
The main goal is to build up a farmer's ability to think like a scientist on their own farm. It's about giving them the power to really analyze what's going on, to figure out the real problems that are holding them back, to test out different solutions without a lot of risk, and then to actually choose and use the practices that work best for them in their situation.
And that is the absolute key. This isn't about some expert coming in from the outside and telling farmers what to do. Nope. The whole point is to go through a process that turns the farmers themselves into the leading experts, giving them the confidence and the skills to make their own smart decisions.
So how does this all work on the ground? What makes it so effective, whether you're in Asia, Africa, or anywhere else? Well, that brings us to the core principles, the engine that makes every farmer field school run.
To make sure this thing actually works, every single FFS is built on a foundation of core, non-negotiable principles. Let's really dig into the 8 principles that are the absolute must-haves for this approach to succeed.
These 8 rules are the secret sauce. They're non-negotiable for a reason. And if you look closely, you can see a pattern, right? They all put the farmer in the driver's seat. For example, the farmers get to decide what to study. That makes sure the lessons are actually relevant to their lives. And notice the facilitator is a guide, not a teacher. That totally flips the script. It means the expertise is built right there within the group, not just handed down from on high. It's a whole new way of learning.
Now, this whole process doesn't just happen in a bubble. A really good farmer field school creates this incredible link between 3 key groups. You've got the farmers with all their hands-on knowledge, you've got researchers with the scientific data, and you've got extension services who help connect the two. It's a real partnership.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this sounds great, but does it work everywhere? Well, because those core principles are so solid, the whole approach is amazingly flexible. It's like one core recipe that you can use to cook up solutions for tons of different challenges.
And just look at this journey. It all kicked off with rice farmers in Asia way back in 1989. Since then, it has just exploded. We're talking over 90 countries now. And the topics, wow, it's gone from just crops to livestock, beekeeping, forestry, and even tackling huge, complex issues like climate change. Here is a perfect real-world example of that flexibility. Let's look at Malawi. The focus of their farmer field schools has changed over the years to meet new challenges. See, it started with maize, then it shifted to making the soil healthier, and now they're working on forestry. The problems they're tackling keep evolving, but the method they use to solve them, that stays the same.
And that is the most important thing to understand about FFS. The context can change, the crop can change, the country can change, but those core principles we talked about, the farmer-led discovery, learning by doing, analyzing as a group, they never change. That's what makes this approach so powerful and so universal.
So as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to get that a farmer field school isn't just a training program or a simple checklist of things to do. It's actually something much deeper.
I absolutely love this quote from the source material. It says FFS is more of software than hardware, Think about that. It's not about giving farmers a new shovel, that's the hardware. It's about upgrading their critical thinking, their problem-solving ability, that's the software. It fundamentally changes how they see the world and work together.
And the results of this software update are just incredible. You see farmers with so much more self-confidence, a better ability to make tough decisions. And yeah, that often leads to better harvests and more types of crops, but just as important, it creates stronger, more resilient, and more sustainable lives for them and their whole community.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. The Farmers Field School is proof that a totally different kind of education is possible, one that's hands-on, collaborative, and truly empowering. If this approach can work so well in a farmer's field, just imagine, where else could we build schools without walls?